Hello, everybody. Thank you all for turning up this evening. And we have special guest Stefan this evening, who is going to give us a tutorial on how to make the best of the slot 1/43 slot cars, SCX compacts, work even better. So should we go straight into it, Stefan? Are you ready?
I'm ready, yes. If everybody's ready, I'm ready too, yes.
Yeah. Is it best for you if people ask questions as we go along, or wait till the end of it?
I'm ready.
Up to you. You can interrupt me, and whenever you want, it's okay. You can ask questions whenever you want. It's
okay.
Actually, I haven't prepared a PowerPoint or whatever. This is just exchanges. So I think it's easier if you have question on the specific topic, just ask it at the moment. Don't wait for the end, because no, this is okay like this. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead when you're ready then.
Okay, good. So there are some new people. I don't know Alan. I think it's the first time I see Alan. And and who is I see Anita under the name of Anita, but
that's Ulf.
That's Ulf, yes.
Okay.
And my wife's
okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Right. Okay. First thing I'm going to tell you about just one important point is the reason why I really love those SCX compact cars is because I'm not a technical guy. I'm a sales guy, and they are really, really easy to tune. I think among the 1/43 world, they are the easiest to tune. If you look at the amount of time you put on the tuning of those cars and the result you get the best results. Tuning a Carrera, for example, would at the moment for an SCX compact, if I do it straight on one car, it would take me something like 30 minutes, and to have a ready tuned car ready to run on my track. If I do this with a Carrera Go, I need to count in hours. So this is, and to have and the results with the SCX is I think much better. So you need to do a lot on Carrera Go to make them run well. So that's the first point. So let's start. I'm going to work on the Porsche today. So I'm going to show it to you. I picked up, as I'm French, I picked up the Michelin once for sure. So I did that not on purpose. That one is already prepared, and I will tune that one. There's a really first thing on people what I've been reading or hearing quite often. Talking to people getting their first SCX car, they're saying mostly, "Oh, and I'm getting that car. The front wheels they don't turn. Front wheels never turn, which is a pity. I would like the front wheels to turn to turn well. So, but there is still hope, because when you press here, you can turn. So already looking at the car from the outside, you see that you have a vertical movement from the guide. And you see also that you can work on the braids, because the braids are going, the front braids are going up to the back braids. So this is a kind of hope that you can have for this. The second point, of course you need to open the car, and also what I'm hearing sometimes is, okay, you get you have the back screw here, but where is the front screw? Actually, the system, and you find that on many cars for SCX, if I remember correctly, not the DTMs, but Corvette, Seat, what else? Some others. The front screw is hidden by the guide. So you can there's a solution. You can remove it. You can force it and remove it but I don't recommend it because, you know, we will see later that there's a system underneath that with those contact stripes, you have to be careful with that. So what I recommend is to use, when using a small screwdriver, you can, the only thing is you cannot place it straight. So just place it a little bit like this, and you can feel the screw, and then you can take it out with no problem. This is I'm always doing this. Another solution would be to cut the back part of the blade to the screw. But anyway, you can do this like what I'm using. You don't need to leave it straight. Can you hear me well? Because I get a message on my laptop that the connection is not so stable. Is it okay?
No, it's sounding fine.
It
No
dropped
cut
out for
or-
a second.
Okay, good. Okay, so when you at that point, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to work on the body. Good point with SCX body is that they are very light. So I don't know if some of you have already tried to remove something inside to gain some weight, because every time on slot cars you need to gain weight on the top and to add weight on the bottom. So I don't know what to remove. There might be some little parts, but not so much. The only thing I'm going to remove here, you see you have the two, oh, I need your help, Lloyd, two holes to hold the screws. How do you call that?
Yeah, the screw mounting holes. Yeah,
Posts.
the screw. Yeah,
Screw mounting holes. Okay,
Yeah.
Standoff.
but I got another name, so I got to improve my vocabulary. But in the middle, you got another plastic
Post.
kind of little plastic tube. Oops, how do you say that?
Post.
Okay, and that one, of course, you don't have a screw here. That one is just made to put a pressure on the motor. As those toys are dedicated to kids, it's to avoid the body to be broken when if by hazard the kid is pressing on it or walking on it. So the only problem is that little part here is causing vibrations, because you got a contact between the body and the motor, and it's causing a lot of noise and vibration. So the only thing I do is I will just take it out. Simply. Okay, so just take it out. You can remove everything or just a little piece. We don't care, and it will make it much quieter. So this is it for the body. You don't need to do anything else. So you just leave the body apart, and then the second part. Then we will work on the chassis. So what I'm always doing, I remove the most I can. All I need to remove to work on it. So I remove all the tires. I will explain to you why I remove the back tires and the front. Of course, I will change the tires. The quality of SCX compact tires is getting worse and worse. So I remove the tires. I will remove the front axle. This is pretty tough to remove the front axle. What I recommend is you use a bit of oil, and you just oil the front axle. You just move it a little bit. I did that this afternoon before, because otherwise you would have seen my face doing something like this. It's kind of tough. Try to avoid using some what's the name of the tool?
Grips or pliers.
Yes, because you will warm the rims. So it's better to put a bit of oil than use a towel or whatever to have more force in your fingers. And what I'm always doing is I'm turning rims in reverse direction. And every time there's one going out, so this time I hope I can do this. Normally, yeah. So you take that out. So you take the front axle axle and rims out. You remove the guide for sure, so it's easy to remove. You can remove the clip. You have to, and this is the screw. I shouldn't forget the screw. To remove the magnet, because I will always run my cars magnet free. It depends. On the first versions of SCX compact, it's pretty easy to recognize if you don't know the deco. If you have a gray crown and pinion, you see on that one it's gray. It's from the first versions, and if it's black, it's from the older version. So they changed the way they're fixing the magnet. On the former version, from the outside, you just press on one side, and it will get out in the inside. But what I noticed in the new version, I need to with a sharp knife, I need to cut a bit here, here and here. You have two little plastic parts so that I can. I did that also before, so that you can easily take it out from the outside. I said it's easy, but normally, hold a second up. Here we go. Okay, magnet is out. So take the magnet out. You can use it for whatever you want. So sometimes you can grind that part, which is a little bit in relief, but normally when you have good tires, you don't need to do so. So I've removed the guide, I've removed the front axle and rims, and I've removed the magnet. I don't remove the motor. You can do it if you want to test the RPM, if you have a tool to test it, but preparing the car, you don't need to do so. So the next, do you have questions at that step or something?
Kev was asking about replacing the wheels on the axles after you've pulled them off.
Oh, reinstall the wheels, you just have to push it and there's no problem. I've never faced any problem with this. The problem you can get, especially on the rear wheels, is that the wheel is not straight because it's coming. We presume it's coming. A friend of mine said that to me. He presumed it's coming from the production facility. There's an overpressure. I've never noticed it, but my friend noticed that sometimes even the axle is a little bit folded because of overpressure. So this is a production problem on the SCX Compact. Sometimes when you turn the wheels, you notice that one is not correctly placed. It's because it's broken, so you need to change it. Or maybe you can glue it a little bit, but most of the time it's better to change it. But I've never noticed that for the front wheels. So you when you replace it on that what you call that nodal axle, you mean with it's not flat or not flat, but when you replace this, I've never faced any problem. The wheel will be really straight, so no problem at all.
Can I make one quick comment? This is something Garth had. He was working with his old tuner car, and it turned out that the back axle was actually not straight anyway. Yep. Mm-hmm. So he actually had a bent axle on that.
Yeah.
Too bad.
A good point. I don't know if you can still find some spare parts, but something to be known that if you can find some spare Kyosho axles and wheels, the Kyosho axle fits perfectly in the crown. It's a bigger axle, but it's a plain one. It's not a nodal one. So if you have spare parts, you can use it. I did that on some of my tuning cars using a D Nano body, and so there are not so many stock left because D slot 43 disappeared. It's no more on the market. So, okay. All right. So now we're going to talk about one of the most important parts, the guide and all the connection. How do you?
The braids.
All the braids, yeah, connection with the braids and the strips, the metallic strips that are coming up.
Yes.
This way it's better. I will use my screwdriver coming from
Metal
the motor
strips, yeah.
here and going underneath here. So that part, many times when you're buying an used car, that part is many times broken. This is a very important part. Actually, my purpose on those cars is to use everything. I know that Peter is doing some repro guides, but I'm trying to use my compact cars as often with the original system. The purpose is these are cheap cars, so the purpose is to keep it cheap as much as possible. So this is very important that there is a good movement here for the two connecting systems. You really need to have a lot of flexibility for this. So you need to check that, and there are quite many points to be checked. It's better. Can I share a picture, Lloyd?
Yeah, should be able to. I'll check mine.
Okay. I'm gonna use a picture.
Yeah, share screen is on.
Okay, good. All right. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So don't care about the numbers. I will use the numbers, but then they're not in the correct order. Actually, on the compact car, this part, all those connection strips are very, very important, because many times the connection is not good between the guide and the motor because of that part. So one of the first point, I'm going to start with point number 3. Those strips are fixed to the chassis with little pins like this that are melted. Okay, so that it's stuck. And sometimes in the production, especially on the one in the two in the front, that part is not melted enough, or maybe the strip was a little bit up, so there is movement in that part. You have movement here. It's not fixed. It's not fixed well. Can you see the arrow of my mouse?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So it's not fixed well. So if it's not fixed well, it's easy. You just place a screwdriver. You push with a screwdriver. You use a soldering iron, and then you melt it a little bit more. Take care when you're melting the chassis plastic, because if you melt it too much, it's really breakable. It can break easily afterwards. So it gets very fragile, though. So don't melt it too much. So this is point number 3. Would be the first to work on. Then point number 1 and 2, you always you can work on point number 1 to change the flexibility. So if you don't have enough flexibility, you might use a screwdriver, place it underneath, lift it up, and then push on the top, so that you get the. It's very important that both parts, left and right, have the same flexibility. So it's not that fragile. You can move it, you can lift it up, you can press on it, and then you will get the correct flexibility. And as well, on point number 2 here, you need to be sure that it's not touching the plastic part. So because if it's scratching on the plastic part, it will be less flexible as well. So this is really the key part. If one day you find a car, an SCX car, a used car with broken parts here, it's a good way to practice this, because okay, it's broken, so you need to find new ones. There is no replacement, because this is a toy market actually, so there's no replacement like what you can find on the 1 30-second market. So these parts are really, really important. So make it as much flexible as possible. Do you have questions before I stop that picture? Turn it off.
Yep. On the top of the guidepost there, is that a piece of spacer you have in there?
Yeah, I will talk to this
okay.
after this. Yes. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So yeah, and
okay, we can see you.
Okay, is it okay?
Yeah.
Can you see me? Okay.
Yeah.
So very important to have it. Trying to show it, not easy, but to have it very flexible at the same level, and that part there's a right angle here. So this needs to be check the angle as well. The angle needs to be right, needs to be the same on both sides. So on that car, this is a new car, so I've been lucky because it's perfect. There's not much to do on that one. So this is it for that part. Then I would work on the front axle. Actually, the front axle is straight in the car, and the purpose is to give a bit of vertical movement. The purpose of it is to avoid bouncing when you have on your track, when you have some bumps or some not regular parts. It allows the front. It allows the front wheels to move a little bit like this, up and down. So of course, when it's turning, it stays up when it's like this. But if it's bouncing a little bit, you have a little how can I say that?
Movement.
You have little movement. Yeah, it's moving a little bit. I thought this was really important before getting a Peter's car. And the Peter's 3D printed chassis, you don't have that system. The front axle stays flat, doesn't move. And actually, he was sending me a car, Porsche 962 D Nano. I've got exactly the same car with SCX chassis on it, and it's my faster car. And Peter's car was as fast as my car, so it's I don't know. But I recommend you can try that tip and compare to another one. If you have two Porsche or two Corvette or whatever, you can try it and see what suits better on your track and what's the best to do. So this is quite easy. You just file. You just go through the. I'm not going to do that because it takes time. You file it through the holes. When you do this, always take care of the metallic parts, because if you go out and you touch it, you might destroy it. So you just have to be careful with it. On most of the compact cars, you need to make it to file it down. So something like 1 millimeter down. So the upper position is the normal position, and you let it go down, and it will help as well the wheels to roll on the track. So this is the case for that one is new. So you can see that the wheel position is the chassis position. The wheel position is pretty up. So you need to make the wheels go, let the wheels go down. But on some of the new compact cars, for example, that's Mercedes, things have changed slightly. You see that the wheel position is much lower. I presume it is to go through the loops, because at the beginning on the compact sets, there was absolutely no loop. And then I think to do like Carrera Go, they decided to add some loops. So the wheels, the front wheels, are way are no more on the top. So on that Mercedes, for example, you have to give it that, which is a little bit tougher because when you lift up, you need to be sure that the position is the same on both sides. And when you file it, you never know if you did okay. Did I do 1 millimeter? If you have a trick to precisely calculate this, I'll be more than happy to get that trick. So this is, be careful on what model you're working on. All the previous models, like the yes, Garth.
You know what I did on my car? Okay, I drilled the holes out, the front axle holes. I drilled them out. Okay, made them bigger. You know, instead of filing them. So I got, you know, movement up and down, and that worked beautifully. Okay, you know, because when I first talked to you about it, I thought that's what you meant to do. You know, because I mean, not very much, you know what I mean? It wasn't, you know, but it was enough where I could grab the wheels like this and, you know, they move up and down. So.
Okay. So if I get that correctly, you mean you increase the diameter or you just, okay.
You know, instead of filing, I just, I forget what the number was, but, you know, just a couple of drills sizes up, okay, and then I just put it on my drill press and drilled through it, okay. You know, and you know that plastic doesn't like to drill very well, but it, you know, it worked fine. You know, I mean,
when you said the plastic doesn't like, you mean it's easy to do or it's not so easy to do?
Well, it's the plastic is that, I don't know what kind of plastic it is, but it's more flexy than anything else. It's not, when you cut it, you know, it kind of.
I think it'd be safer, Garth, if you used a reamer, small little reamers, rather than a drill.
Well, I tried doing that, but I couldn't get a hold of the right size reamer. So I used a really good drill, and
that
worked. It worked really good. Okay.
Okay. So. What Kev is writing on the side here is that if you increase the diameter, you might have a movement front and back movement, so which is not so good.
And steering almost.
Yeah.
Okay. One important point.
I don't know about that, but I can tell you what the end result was. Faster.
That's the most important. Yes.
Now we know what Garth wants. He wants speed.
All right. One important point about this, I was talking about the color difference on the crown that you can recognize, the gray previously and the black after this. The quality of the plastic of the chassis has changed as well. For the first cars, normally it's coming with gray crown, so it's easy to recognize. But take care, because sometimes they're changing something, and it's not easy to how do you say that, to find. It takes a long time. It's really tough. And one day I was buying the newer cars, and then the plastic has changed. Plastic is not as flexible as before, and it gets very fast. So I was really surprised. I almost destroyed the car because I was going too. No, I could use it again, but I was going too much down. So just take care. I don't know if you see here on the detail what I'm doing. You see there's a reinforcement around. You got a circle. Yeah. You got a circle around. What I'm doing, I'm just doing down here, not more than this. I'm just switches a little bit less than a millimeter, I think.
Small.
When you've reached that circle, it's okay. That's enough. You see on that one, which is, but it's not, the movement is, it's not a big movement. Okay.
I agree with that. Even with what I did, okay, by drilling it through, it's not a big movement. Okay, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, you know, this
small amount.
Yeah. It's not 2 times the diameter you have before. It's less than this. Okay. Okay. Good. Right. So at that step, you can mount the wheels again. So I didn't do that on that one, but okay. Anyway, and then we will work on the guide, which is also an important part. Sorry, for the front axle, you should cut a little bit the axle when you have like a side movement more than 2 millimeters, something like this. Or you know, you always have a side movement. 1 millimeter is enough. If you have 2-3 millimeters, you should cut, and especially on the Porsche, it's good to cut a little bit the axle or to file it, whatever. It works as well. So then you have the movement. Check when you make it go down. The risk is that the axle touches the metallic parts, and then I don't know the English for that, but
shorting. It shorts it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a good if it happens, it's not that important. What you can do, if it happens, just check when that part is up. Just check if it doesn't touch here, and you can go and see your wife and ask for nail coating, and it works perfectly. You put nail coating on the axle or on the strips, whatever, and it will preserve the contacts. You don't have any more contacts like this. Okay. Right. The guide now. Okay. Purpose is to make you have a bit of vertical movement with the guide, so the purpose is to lift it up. So you just need a ring. I'm using just like credit cards or whatever cards. I make a hole. I cut with a knife. That was the Lloyd's question before. You just lift up 1 millimeter, maybe a little bit more. And before this as well, on the braids, normally the front ones are going always up. So I always cut the braids so that the front part doesn't touch the back part of the braid. So I can show it here. It doesn't touch here. There's nothing here.
Oh.
Okay. And you need to make it as flat as possible. So there was one day I was asking a friend who the cars like this. I said, "How do you do that?" Because when if I press with my fingers, it's quite tough to do. And there's a little very easy tip to do. You use a very sharp knife, and you place the non-cutting part underneath. Where am I? I don't have my glasses. So you place it underneath, and you do a little like a little bump on the front. You see here? Whoops. On the front, so that when you have this, when you will use your finger, it will be really straight. So that's a good you make a little bump underneath on the front, and then use your finger to make it flat, and it will be really perfectly flat. Okay. So then you can mount the guide. I'll use this one. Very small, but I'm gonna you put the little ring on it. You can use whatever you want for those little rings, and when you can remount the tires as well. And when this is done, I'm always checking if the contact strips are working correctly. So what I'm doing here, I just look. I make the guy move up, left and right, because that can happen in the curves. I turn the guy. I do that on the left. I do that on the right, and I see if you have a movement inside the chassis. If those little contacts are moving, it means that the braid is still in contact with the with this. This is a really I think you need to take time on this to really check everything and look at everything, because otherwise you might have cuts here. So okay. Any question on the front axle guide, whatever? No.
Just one. You put that little white piece of plastic at the top. That is you're raising the guide up. You want the guide. You're taking out any slop that was in the guide there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because on those type of cars you don't need actually, and I think that maybe the flexibility is coming from what has been done on the axle, but I don't know. Yeah. There's a little. I know that on 1/32 you have a lot of you have some guys that have a what's the name?
Movement.
A movement, but with the metallic. What's the name? Metallic thing going around like this, and that is making this. Sorry.
Spring.
Yeah, spring. Sorry, yeah, spring. Yeah, on some 1/32 you have a spring on it. So, but there you remove it, and I've never find any problem with that actually. But anyway, there can be normally if you use a plastic card, you will still have a bit of movement because you have quite a lot on the SCX compact guides. Okay.
Yeah, good.
Good. Yeah. No, Garth, you.
Yeah, I got a question about what you mentioned about the difference between the gray crowns and the black crowns.
Mm-hmm.
Could you elaborate on that? I mean, what's is it worse, better, or?
Actually, I think it's my experience. Maybe I don't know if I was doing things correctly, but my view on this, I've got a feeling that the gray plastic for the crown and pinion is stronger than the black one. And when SCX have changed their pinion and crown color, they change also the quality of the chassis plastic, and I prefer the first one with the gray crown, because even if it's tougher to file, I think it's more flexible. It's more the feeling I've got on that plastic is better. So when you got a black crown and you file down the front axle holes, you got to be careful because it's going to be very quick. So if you don't want to go too much down, you need to be very careful on this. So you can have two types of plastic, and you have to take care of that.
So you like the gray crowns better?
I prefer, I prefer everything on those cars because the deco was much better at the beginning.
Yeah.
Deco quality has been down. So in the US, you're lucky because I know it's pretty tough to get some new SCX compact, but actually what you find on eBay or wherever is mostly the ones from the early years.
Yeah.
And it was much better to buy.
Yeah, all the ones I got so far have got gray crowns on them.
That's good. That's good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the front is ready now. On the motor, you just have to do one thing. Just try to move it up, down, and left to right to see if there's a movement. Sometimes it's not correctly fixed. The motor is fixed in the front here with two clips, and in the back with the axle going. You see, there's a plastic part here.
It's in the hole, yeah.
There's a round, it goes here. So most of the time, if there's movement, it's coming in the front. So what I recommend is to use hot glue and to put 2 points here and here. You keep it tight, and you add hot glue here and then here, and then your motor wouldn't move anymore. this is not normal actually. This is just that, you know, it is a toy, that the chassis strength is not sometimes so strong. So this is something important. The next part is to work on the back rims. Many times, especially on the Porsche, on I think the Corvette, Modena, Ferrari Modena as well, the flat part here is a little bit curvy like this. You know, it makes it's not flat. So it's much better if that part is flat, if the tire can lay flat on it. So you have more grip, you have more surface, contact surface. Otherwise, you might have the tire touching on both edges. So what I'm doing, I'm using something very, very easy. I use a Carrerago connection track.
Yeah.
I connect here a controller. I block it down, and then you can, depending what pressure you put, you can control it. 2 pieces with double face tape, 2 pieces of sandpaper, and then it's easy. You just put it like this, and then you grind it, and then you have a flat surface. You will see easily that the painting is going. Is it? Yeah, already. The painting is going. Sorry, I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
The painting is going out on both sides. So I didn't do that too long. But this is a way I found. Maybe you have some other ways, but this is an easy way to do that. You just need if you bought many trucks, whatever truck you have, if you have spare parts and those controllers, there's nothing to do with it. So it's because they're not good. So this is a good way to use it, right? What could happen sometimes when you turn the back wheels, you can notice that there's kind of dent, or it's just blocking a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So this might be it might be the crown. You know, the motor axle is going inside the crown, and you have a little in the crown. You have a little how do you call it? A little hole that maintains it. That avoids so that the rear axle cannot move. So sometimes here you can have some little defects on the plastic or whatever. So you should you can still use it, make it turn. Take care of the tooth because if you break it on the crown, it's over. But just try to remove this by turning it and filing it. This is the best way to do that. Then you need to find tires. Here, mostly I'm using some silicone tires made by a friend, but I think you have sources in the USA. For example, Gel Clothes is doing some for SCX. Now you have in France slot car tires going back to business. So these are a way to find urethane tires, or you can make the molds. The original tires are not good enough to run magnet free. So no way you can run magnet free with that. Right. Then do you have questions on this?
Just one mention, Garth found another supplier of tyres over there in America as well. I can't remember who it was now.
Paul
Garth, you in there?
Gage? Are you
Paul
talking
Gage.
Paul Gage?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Paul Gage, my understanding of Paul Gage, it's mostly for 132nd cars, is it?
He found that they have got some 143rd as well.
Yeah, he does list 143rd, maybe about 4 or 5 different sizes.
Okay. And what can it fit? Can it fit some compact cars or? Go.
I think he has broken it down into there are certain ones for a couple of the goes, and I think there's a set for like the SCX NASCAR, and then another set for the other SCXs. So he does have a couple sizes for each.
Because SCX, you don't Carrego, the major problem is that you have many different rims. So many different tires. SCX is much better on this. You got a NASCAR, you got the DTM, you got the Porsche, but the Porsche fits the Corvette, Modena, some others as well. The new Audi and Mercedes GTs are, yeah, you can use the DTM and Porsche tires. So this is pretty good. You don't need many different references. This is quite better. Okay, at that step, I'm adding some lead weight. I'm going to use a picture. It's going to be easier. Oops. Okay. This is a kind of old picture. This is this is a Porsche chassis, the same I'm showing tonight. Actually, in red, it's what I was doing before, and in green, it's what I'm doing now. At the beginning, I was placing the lead weight on the red part, and then I've changed it because purpose was to put less lead weight and also to place it as deep as possible, because the chassis, you got two, I don't know if you can see, but you got two levels, and the red part is a little bit up compared to the green part. So I'm using this lead weight. This is a flat lead weight, but you can use whatever you want. There might be a debate on, shall I place some on the front or not? My view on this, I've seen, it is too bad there was on Facebook, there was a big debate going on the compact cars, but I don't know why the thread disappeared. I don't know what happened. I've asked Raul, a Spanish guy, through Messenger, what happened then, but he didn't answer yet. So I don't know if he removed his message. He did post the message first. So my view on this, as long as the front axle, wheels, guide braids, whatever, is correctly set, you don't need to add some weight on the front. So you're going to have a car which is very low car on the front, and there will be absolutely no problem. It's not going to go out of the slot easily. So I prefer to place the lead weight on both sides of the motors and under the rear axle, because it gives more traction to the back wheels, actually. It avoids sliding, and so it's better to put. We're talking about cars that will be at the end something like 32 grams, so which is very light, and actually the lighter the better, because the motors are pretty small. So you don't need to place too much lead weight on those cars. What's the weight of you compact cars, Garth? After tuning it,
I've got a ton of weight in it. Absolute ton of weight. Okay.
I think we were talking about this before. Yes, this is.
Hey, Stefan.
Yep.
Could you go back to that previous picture that you had?
Yep.
What, showing the weights?
Hold a second. Okay, that one. Yep.
Okay, I noticed on this particular chassis, is this modified because it's showing wires coming from the motor down to the copper strip, whereas the other ones you were showing, it looked like they were soldered directly to the motor.
No, actually, the one I've got tonight is you got wires, but that's true on compact cars. I got to check if it's only the Porsche having those wires, because many of the compact cars, they don't have wires at all.
I was going to say, I've got a bunch of them that don't have wires. It's just a direct solder.
Yeah, they don't have. So I don't know why. Absolutely don't know why they did that. It's pretty strange. And recently they came back to some other systems. So this is, or maybe after this, I got some pictures from the Spanish guy on the new cars, and they've changed a lot of things because the new cars are arriving with front lights. And it's changing quite many things. I can show you after this. I didn't get some yet, but yeah.
I found.
So I don't know, but this is a good question. I don't know if all the Porsches I've got some wires. I will.
The weights that I'm using over here, I have found very, very thin lead, and it has a very thin double-sided tape on the other side, and I got those, believe it or not, at a Golf Pro show, or where they actually use this real thin lead and wrap it around the golf clubs down near the head. And it's real thin and has double-sided tape. Very easy to use and very nice to build up layers.
And can you rely on the double-face tape?
Yeah, I have not had it break loose at all.
All right.
And you can cut it with scissors.
Yeah.
Which is very nice. Easy to apply.
I think there was a slot car manufacturer or selling some lead weight like this.
Professor Motor.
NSR. I was buying some, but for 1/43, I found it too thick. So this is
this is probably maybe a 0.5 millimeter thick.
That's good. That's very good.
Very thin, yeah.
Yeah, very thin.
So we should check on the Golf websites. Do they give a name to this, or is it homemade? Do you think it's homemade?
I got it quite a few years ago. It was in a little bubble package at the Golf Pro shop. But I would imagine that you could probably get it at any sporting goods store that sells golf accessories.
Okay. Good. And I think with that you don't need much, so you can if you have a little stock, you can it can last for years. So.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Could I show a picture?
Yep.
Okay. You asked me about weight, okay. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at all the weight I got in this thing. This is a tuning car, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I got actually I've taken these out, okay. This is some Professor Motor stuff, okay, like a 1/16 of an inch thick, okay. Those are gone now, but these are fishing weights, okay, that are smashed down, okay, and then glued in, epoxied in, and the same thing is true up in the front here, okay. I just smash them down and then cut them and put them in there. So that's what I got on my tuning car. So I got a lot of weight on there.
And I like the motor.
That's that black motor on there. So.
Okay. So then the last part is to remount it. I'm not going to do this now. Oh, yes, just for the front. When you place a ring on the top of the guide, don't forget to place the screw before, because otherwise you would have problems. And to screw it again, just be sure that the screwdriver is correctly taking the screw here. The screw needs to be very straight when you remount it, because my body is here, and then you have to find, and then you mount it again. That's it. I'm not going to do that, but that's it. I don't know if you're doing this, but for the back screw, it's better to not to leave a little bit of flexibility.
play.
Yeah.
Not too tight.
It's a gain of 1, 2, or 3 tenths of a second a lap. So this is incredible. You just do your laps, you screw it tight, and you do your laps, and you look at the best laps, and then you do something like half or one round. You open it and then do the laps, and it gets much better. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so that's it.
You didn't mention it though. In most cars, when they're talking about tuning, they talk about in most articles about tuning, particularly when they're talking of rear tires, they talk of truing the tires.
Mm-hmm.
When you use silicone, no, you don't need to do that.
You don't. You can't actually, because the silicone would. It's not good. And actually, what we noticed in when sometimes the silicone is not perfect, you're turning them, and it's not good because it's less sticky at the end. So you need to find the right silicone tires. So I'm not doing that. I know that Peter and many people using some urethane tires are truing the tires, they're sticking the tires and truing those, but I'm not. No, I'm using silicone tires like they are.
Yeah, but you're truing the wheels is what you're doing.
It's not truing them, no.
Yeah, he is.
Truing the wheel. Yeah.
The wheels. Yes.
Yeah.
The rims, actually. Yes.
The rim. Yeah.
Yep. To make them flat. Yes. Yep.
I do find.
Go ahead, Dirk. I was just curious on a lot of the silicone tires that I've got, the gels, and even from Paul Gage, the sidewalls and then the actual surface of the tire itself is very perpendicular, and they've got edges on them. And I have found out that by taking a small piece of sandpaper or file and rounding those edges just a little bit, I find that the car will slide around the curves a lot better. Before I did that, they were flipping because that edge was catching on the track. So it's just something I found that works for me. So you may want to try a set, round a set off, and see if you get any improvement.
Yeah, if you're talking about gel claws, they're kind of, they're all like that on the edges. They're kind of.
Yeah, I've done that with my gel claws, and I found out the best way to do that is by taking it didn't work with a piece of sandpaper. It just wouldn't remove that stuff. And I ended up using the edge of a razor blade. And very carefully, as the tire was spinning, it just rounded that off beautifully.
He's a brave man.
You only live once, hell.
You need some shaving foam?
Well, I'm not telling you the whole story here. I didn't use a razor blade in my hand. It was the traditional safety razor.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's the blade is being held in the handle.
Oh, the old-fashioned razor. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just hold it up against the tire there, and it took that edge off beautifully.
You can see from that it didn't work to do his beard anymore.
I use it on my tires. To hell with the beard.
Thank you, Stefan. Is there any more to that? Garth is.
Garth.
Come on, go on, Garth.
I got a show and tell that's kind of relevant to what
okay.
Stefan was saying. So, can you see that?
Yeah, we got
Yes.
it.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay. All right. This is first couple of cars that I I started in 143rd. You got a tuning car here. This is SCX tuning car, okay, and this is a Carrera, okay, Carrera Go, okay, and I decided that with the Carrera Go, you can see I put guides on here on both the cars on from Peter Pfister guides on both, and I cut the thing off the back of this car, okay, the Carrera Go car, and that's what I did to the Carrera Go. Can you see that? Okay, can you see that photo?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. What I ended up doing here was I ended up changing on the guide on the 3D printed guide. I ended up putting spacers in here to make this work in the body hole, okay. And I cut this kidney out of there, okay. But this is the end result, okay. Was the guide was kind of in there cattywampus because the front of this chassis on this Mercedes is slanted. So the way where I had this thing landing, it was kind of between this surface and that surface, and it just never really worked like I wanted it to. So basically, I just said to hell with it, and I threw it in the, I gave up on the Go cars completely. I just kind of stayed with the SCX cars, okay. And
you need to make the front part flat.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. And
I
got something else to show you. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, anyways, I basically.
And after this, I'll show you a picture of what I did online. Yes.
So I decided I just gave up on it and just stuck with the SCX cars. So I've been working on those.
Sorry, Garth.
A couple of days ago.
Garth?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got one question. How do you fix the front? Because you've been using the screw hole for this.
Right. And just let me get through the photos and you'll see.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
So this is the part that I gave up on. Okay. I said, you know what? I don't like that. The hell with it. I just left it alone. Didn't screw with it. Okay. A couple of days ago, I decided I had to give it more of the college try. Okay. And so this is what I started to do. Okay. So I tore the chassis all down. Okay. And first thing I did was I ground off this box, okay, that was by where the magnet hooks into, so that so it's flush with where the motor is, okay. So that was number one. Number two, I ground off, and this I already had on the car, okay, because I had cut this out, okay. So I cut this half moon out, and this is the old body mounting hole, okay, and I ground the top of that off, okay. And then drilled that hole out just a little bit for the guide to fit in there. So the guide now goes into the old mounting hole. Okay, and this is where the old guide was, which I didn't like at all because it was behind the axle. Okay, and it just didn't work at all. Okay, so now here's the next thing I did was I took the crown and I drilled the hole out for new axles. Okay. And then the next one is, and this is what I ended up doing. I used drill rod for axles. Okay. So I made up a couple axles. And then these wheels are Peter Pfister's DTM SCX wheels. Okay. And so he has three wheels really on Shapeways, but this one is the larger of the SCX ones. It's just slightly larger than what he calls a 911 wheel. Okay. And so I got this all set up and I drilled this, and we talked about this earlier. I drilled this hole out, both of these holes out, so it's got a little play in it. Okay. All right. I'm going to go forward a little bit more. And that just shows what the wheels look like. All righty. Next one. So here's the guide. Now I got a new guide. Okay. Peter made me a guide he took the SCX guide and made it deeper. Okay. The blade deeper. So it's called on Shapeways. This thing is called SCX Extra Deep. Okay. Or deep kick blade. Okay. And so I'm getting ready here. I got I'm using now on all these 143rd cars, I'm using these braids that are solder wick with no flux on them, okay? And they were fabulous, okay? And so I put some silicone wires on I ripped all the SCX or everything that was in this car. I ripped out and put the new wires on there. Okay, next picture is showing the guide. This is the deep blade guide. Okay, you can see where that was where the old Carrera Go guide was. Okay, so I just ripped that right off. Okay, and in this picture I got the braids stuck into the guide, and I've got some brass ferrules, because this is what I do on all my saw cars. I put these little brass ferrules on there. All righty. And then that shows with the wires in it. Okay. All set up, ready to go. All right. And you'll see this is another shot that shows how the wires fit in there and how that guide rotates in this thing. Okay.
What, Garth?
Yeah.
Why do you put the wires under the axle?
Good question. I probably don't have to do that. Okay. It wouldn't really matter. They could go above it if I wanted.
It's not there's no contact.
No, there's no contact, but that is a good point, because this thing is in flux at the moment, so I could very easily put it over the top. So
because I think if you put it up, you will have more flexibility. I presume.
Yeah, it's a good point. Okay. So here's what the solder wick axle, and this stuff is fabulous. Okay, I tried all different kinds of guides for 132nd cars on this, and never liked any of them. This stuff just sits down perfectly flat. Okay, right, and that shows it when it's rotated over. Okay, and here this shows the guide. And how I fix the guide. Okay, it's just a piece of tubing. Okay, that I cut off. Okay, plastic tubing, and it pushes down on top of the guide. Okay, and it's fabulous. It works. It's tight enough where it works like a nut. Okay, you know what I mean. And so at this point, see, now that I've used up the old body hole. Okay, so I don't have a body hole. So I put a body on this car, and I drove the car around with just one screw in the back. Okay. And, because it's a Carrera Go car, it was really rattly, and, just didn't like it at all. And the guide was actually a little too, not far enough down. So the next thing I did was I took a piece of spruce, okay, and I wanted to do something fast, okay, and I could have did something more beautiful than this, but I just wanted to do something fast. So I kind of ground the bottom of this piece of wood so it fit into the body, and then I epoxied it in there, and then the top of it is cut off so that when the body is on, there's actually an air gap between where the axles and all this part on the chassis, so that doesn't touch the chassis in any way. Okay, and that's where the hole for the old Carrera blade I drilled out, and I've got a wood screw stuck in there. Okay, and you can see this is the old way. Okay, this is with the old Carrera thing cut off. Okay, and that's what I did is I drilled this hole out, and I countersunk it, okay, and then I've got a number 4 wood screw screwed into that little block, and so that held the thing down, okay. That shows the guide, okay, and how it works, okay. And what I ended up doing here, Stefan, okay, see right here, this is a plastic spacer, okay, that's the same as that plastic spacer, and I experimented with heights here until I got it down to where I got this right down to the track, just like I want it. Okay. All right. So it sits right on the track. There's a side view of it, and you'll see just by luck, okay, by nothing other than luck, I didn't plan this, because this old boss or old post for the body mounting, because the bottom of it is round, is flat to the back of the chassis, not flat to the front of the chassis. This spacer fits right up into it, and it's perfect because it allows the thing to rotate back and forth, yet it allows me to push it down so I'm right on the track with it. It's beautiful. It really worked well. Okay. And okay, let me go to the next photo. That's another shot of showing that how I've got that spacer in there. Okay, and then this is a little different there. Okay, and that's what the guide looks like from the side. Now, when you're looking at this picture, it looks like that guide is too low, but it isn't. Okay, you get fooled here because of the way that this chassis upticks. Okay, all right, and that shows the guide again. Okay, you can see how beautiful this guide is. Okay, and you see compared to for a Carrera Go car, you know, where the guide used to be back here behind the axle. Okay, now the pivot point is in front of the axle. Okay, for the guide, and it's really just a world of difference. Okay, that's a shot of the front of it. Okay, all right, and here we go, another shot of the front of it. Okay, and here's a shot of it. This is what I like about it the most. Okay, you don't see any big chunk of stuff sticking out of the front of the car. Okay, you know, I mean, it's actually underneath the body. Okay, but it's in front of the axle. Okay, so, and that's another shot of the back. Now I've got these DTM wheels, and this is actually a SCX DTM front tire, and this is a gel claw silicone or whatever they call it on the back. Okay, all right, and then comparing it, here's a comparison to the tuning car. Now the tuning car has exactly the same wheel tires on the back. The wheels are different. This wheel is what's called the 911 wheel, which is a little smaller in diameter. All right, and you can see this is a little closer shot of it. You see how much, can you see the difference between this height and that height? It's just slightly different. Okay, but even though the tires are exactly the same. Okay, and that's a better shot of it. Okay, see, this is the DTM wheel, and this is the 911 wheel. Okay, and to me, it makes the car to me was a piece of junk. Now it's a cool piece of junk, you know. So there's the two cars together. All right, and then the last, and I do want to ask you about weight on this in a little after this last photo. Okay, I need to put weight in it. I drove the car around, and it goes pretty well, but it spins the wheels like crazy coming out of every turn just about. So I need to put weight on it somewhere, and I got a photo to show you. But the other thing I wanted to show is, guess what I got today?
Oh,
it came in the mail today. Okay.
this is great news.
Have you tuned them yet?
I haven't done anything. I just got the box an hour ago. Okay, you know what I mean? I got it on eBay. I bid on it. Okay, and I was stupefied. I couldn't believe it. I got it for $49.
49 is very
$49, and it's got,
price,
you know,
yes.
the cars are, everything is in good shape. It's a whole set, and the braid is goofed up on the cars, but other than that, they're fine, you know. So, and
Wow.
I'm going to be experimenting with these cars, and I'm going to take one of the bodies. Okay, and I think that's the last photo.
Is the painting of the yellow front spoiler going out?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Is the painting of the yellow one, the front, do you call it the front spoiler?
Yeah.
Is the painting going out? Yeah, it is. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the painting is on the chassis. Actually, that part is not the part of the body, it's part of the chassis.
Part of the
Okay.
And the
chassis.
painting doesn't, yep. Oh,
And
yours
then
look, yep.
Oh, that one
But,
hasn't got one.
They're really nice cars, yes.
yeah, well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that body. Well, after I get them running and stuff, I'm going to put DTM. I'm going to destroy them like I do all the other ones. Okay, put special guides in them and get rid of all that junk on the inside of them. But I want to. They're so rare. Okay, that I think I'm going to get somebody to make me a resin body for it. Okay, I mean an actual. Molded from this body. I want it to be exactly the same as this body.
Okay,
And
that's what you said last time. I won't do that with mine. Never.
Because I get the body back. Okay, you know what I mean? I just want to be able to have an actual SCX body. And then I'm going to design a chassis for it. So, but anyways, that was my show and tell for today. And
usually speaking, when I do a resin body, it doesn't damage the car that I'm molding from.
there,
But I guarantee that if it is a special car that I really want to look after, it would damage the decals on it and things like that. But in most cases, the decals remain fine and it doesn't hurt the car. But there was always a risk, particularly if it's a bit of a rarer car, one that's hard to get hold of. You don't want. They're tamped anyway, aren't they? So it should be that the markings will stay on them. Okay.
yeah, I just want to. I love the body. I mean, I think it's one of the best. And Alan's got some 3D printed chassis, okay. But I want a two-sided resin body, okay, that's got all the trappings for the body to mount on there and everything. So, and
yeah, it could be small, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, he's got that body, okay. But so
That's all one piece.
yeah.
That's not like the SCX. You can see the splash pans are all part of the body.
Yeah, it's just another thing for me to play with, okay. But what did you think of my Carrera car, Stefan?
Your Carrera car?
Yeah.
This is good. What you've done is pretty good. I would on the front axle, I will remove the holders on the middle.
Oh, okay.
Because you can give a bit of flexibility as well, like the SCX. Because if you don't remove that, if you don't cut that, you're not able to.
Yeah, I do got a little. Here's the car actually. Okay, I got a little flexibility already because I've drilled the holes.
Because you drilled it. Okay.
But if you saw this car with the wheels that come with it, it looks like
this.
It
looks good. Yep. I would paint the wheels in black.
I don't know.
You don't know?
These wheels are so much smaller than the wheels that come with it, but I like the car better. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. But what you need to do as well is to work on the aesthetic, because the front is going up like this to go through the loops. So I can share some pictures what I did on mine. Oops. Here we go. So it's that one. The one on the left is the real one or drawing. So
let's go car. Yeah, okay.
Actually, you cut the shape. You cut a little bit. You don't cut you just make with a knife. You just cut a little bit and you fold it. And the white part here is I can show it to you on another. Move it. What will I have here? So yeah, it gives the profile here.
Oh yeah.
So I change the profile before after. I change also the wheels and everything.
So
not the wheels, but no, it's not the correct one. It's not the one I wanted to show. I got another one, so I got to go out. So I'm using you make it go down, you make it flat, and then of course you have a hole in the front. So I'm using some Carrego barriers that are very flexible, and I can show it to you here. Where is it? I got another one. What I did here. Okay. This is a Lamborghini, but whatever. I place it inside, and then you get the, oh, that's something different. And that one is bigger, and then I painted it black. So I did that on the Lamborghini. So you see this is the Carrerago barrier, very flexible, using soldering iron to melt the plastic there.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And then it totally changed the shape of the car, the look of the car, because those go-cars with big wheels and all the front part going up like this are not nice at all. So this is changing again. This is the shape is you see it's going really up like this. Not so nice. But this is more aesthetic. This is not to go faster at all.
This appearance, yeah.
Yeah. I forget two things on the SCX cars. Just quick things. When you've worked on the front axles, you always need to be sure that it's turning really perfectly, like this, on left and right. Because as you're working on a plastic, if it's not turning perfectly, you might have problem. The second thing I want to say, when you having a brand new SCX compact or used car, whatever, a good way to see if the rear axle is working perfectly with all the pinion and crown is to turn by hand the wheels, and normally it must go smoothly. Tonight I wanted to work on there's a magnet to work on that one, and that one there's nothing going on. So I think there's a problem. There must be a problem with crown or pinion. So always when you buy a SCX compact, always do this. If it turns perfectly, it means you might have something pretty good already. So that's it for me.
Well, thank you very much for that, Stefan. I'm sure I got something from it.